student. In last lecture I have completed up to universal selector. Today I will start the types of positioning in CSS. There are four types of positioning in CSS, that is static position, fixed position, relative position and absolute positioning. Static position is a by default position for HTML element. It is not affected by the top, bottom, left and right properties. Then second one is fixed positioning. This property helps to put the next fix on the browser. The fixed property forces an element into a fixed position relative to the browser window. The fixed element will not move even when the page is scrolled. So this is a fixed position. Then third one is relative positioning. The relative positioning property is used to set the element relative to its normal position. So in relative positioning, it is used to set the element relative to the normal position. And fourth one is absolute positioning. This property set an element in a specific location and it is not affected by the flow of the page. This property position the element of the specified coordinates the relative to your screen top left corner. So these are the four types of positioning. Let's see one example. DOC type HTML head, then style tag, first position relative, then top -10 pixels and right -10 pixels. Then heading 2 position absolute left 100 pixels, top 150 pixels. So here we will define the positioning of this property. The position is relative, top 10 pixels and right 10 pixels. Then heading 2 position absolute left 100 pixels and top 150 pixel. Then style tag close, then body tag. H1 class first, this is a heading 1, H1 tag close, H2 tag, this is heading 2, H2 tag close, body tag close and HTML tag close. Here we will display the output in right side and then in the normal middle of the page. This is heading 1 and this is heading 2. This is H1 tag and H2 tag. Then next is float property. A float is a CSS property written in CSS file or directly in the style of an element. The float property defines the flow of the contents. There are types of floating properties: float left, float right and float none. The left property, this keeps the element float on the left side of the container. Right, this keeps the element float on the right side of the container. Then float none, this is a default property, that is this show the element as it is. So these are the three properties of float: left, right and none. Then display property. The display property in CSS defines how the components are going to be placed on the web page. It specifies how the element is displayed. As the name suggests, this property is used to define the display of different parts of a web page. So this display property is defined how the components are going to be placed on the web page. The components like hyperlink, heading, etc. and it specify how the element is displayed. As the name suggests, this property is used to define the display of the different parts of a web page. The syntax of this display property is display and then define a value, where values are inline, block, block inline and none. So the display syntax is display and then value, which you can be define in 4 style, that is inline, block, block inline and none. Inline, it is used to display an element as an element, inline element. Block, it is used to display an element as a block element. It starts on a new line and takes up the whole width of the browser window. Block inline, this value is very similar to the inline element, but the difference is that you are able to set the width and height. And none, the element is completely removed. So there are the 4 values: inline, block, block inline and none. Let's see the example related to this display property. DOC type HTML head style tag, then p tag for paragraph, display inline, then style tag close, head tag close, then body tag. P tag, welcome to Balbharti, then p tag close, then p JavaScript, HTML5 and CSS. Let's see the output of this coding in one sentence: welcome to Balbharti, JavaScript, HTML5 and CSS. The another example of this display property is DOC type HTML, then language in head tag title. Title is example of CSS proper display. Title tag close, style tag text CSS, a tag, display block, background color here defined, that is orange, then style tag close, head tag close, body, p tag, a href reference of this text, that is https www.ebalbharti.in, visit Balbharti, a tag close, break, then p tag close, body tag close and HTML tag close. In this particular program we will define the display property, display block, background color, then reference of the particular text or link of this page. Let's see the output. The output is visit Balbharti. Then here we will link another file to this visit Balbharti link. This is based on the CSS property studied so far. The representations of the semantic tags display in 11th standard textbook can be coded as follows: the use of semantic tag and CSS. In this particular coding we will give the header, then color, background color, width and height, then again we will use footer also, background color, then height and width, then heading tag. HTML5 includes a new semantic. P tag, it includes the semantic tags like header, footer, then example of complete HTML5 basic, and in H2 the markup of the future under the code. I hope you all are understood till this display tag. In next lecture, I will start the list OL tag and UL tag. Till then, goodbye.